Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending on where you are in the world. We have participants from all around the world joining us today. We are very happy with this result. And now I'm very honored to present this conversation with students from the University of Brasilia. They are from a project called PET Bio in Portuguese and PET Bio in English. They are biology students and they do an amazing work collecting information and thinking how to spread the academic knowledge, the scientific information to regular citizens in order to spread science to everyone and to have access to all this information and to learn how they do that. They prepared a video for us. They also prepared this material especially for the Earth Action Hub, and they also put subtitles so they could reach out the audience they have in Brazil and also in Portugal and Angola and all the countries speaking Portuguese. So please enjoy now this video with us. And after that, we'll have the chance to talk to two members of the project so we can learn a little bit more, ask questions, and interact with them. We are very honored to present now the video. Please enjoy, and I'll see you in a few minutes.
Hi everyone, I am Isabela Castro, I'm a degree biology student, and I work with Ecology of Ecosystems and Scientific Dissemination.
I'm Cibelle Borges, I'm a biologist and I volunteer in different NGOs with scientific dissemination. Currently, I'm working with the conservation of the Brazilian fauna.
The PET program, Tutorial Education Program, is a Brazilian program promoted by the Ministry of Education by the federal government. It was created in 1979 and currently in Brazil we have about 400 groups from the most various undergraduate major. We represent the PET Biology group from University of Brasilia. Our group is formed by 18 students and the tutor, the Professor Julia Flasco. It was created 36 years ago by the Professor Elliot Kitajima, and since its start we have had about 10 different tutors and several undergraduate students. The general goal of the PET program is to create space for learning that goes beyond the curricular experiences during the graduation. With the guidance of a tutor, we want to form complete professionals for both the academical environment and for the job market, with social, ethical, and pedagogical commitments. The projects developed by the PET Biology Group follows the three pillars of the university: education, research, and extension. We always seek to create space for discussions mediated by professionals from different areas, addressing interdisciplinary subjects that are complementary to the traditional student formation. And of course, these subjects are in some way important to the society. In this presentation, we choose to tell you in more detail about two of our projects, our research and our scientific dissemination. We hope to inspire you with these two examples, and we expect to see more content on the social media showing the scientific dissemination and fighting against fake news. We want to contribute positively to the society, discussing issues in local, national, and even global scale, as climate change. Besides, we want to warn you about the chasm between the devastation in Brazilian biomes and the way that the media shows it. We need to talk about the other biomes besides Amazon, and we need to show to the people their importance and why we should conserve it. So finally, our research is based on a really simple question. Does the Brazilian media, newspapers, and magazines report with due representativeness the deforestation in Brazilian biome? Well, Brazil is a mega diverse country with 6 extremely different biomes: Cerrado, Caatinga, Atlantic Forest, Pantanal, Pampa, and the most famous, the Amazon. All of these biomes are very different and very important, but most of them are heading towards an irreparable degradation process. The Cerrado is the second largest biome in Brazil, And it is where biology is based on, so we can see on our daily lives what is happening. Cerrado has lost half of its original area, and this is due to the wide exploration and the creation of pastures and soil monocultures. The Caatinga is a mainly deciduous arborescent vegetation and is very unique and very beautiful, but is following some patterns that we talked about. Atlantic forest was an exuberant forest that covered the entire Brazilian coast, but since the colonization of Brazil, it has been gone. Nowadays, only a small portion of it remains. The Pantanal is a hyper-seasonal floodable savanna with elements from both the Amazon and the Cerrado. Pampa is a rural formation that is suffering a lot with the loss of vegetation to the livestock. And finally, we have the Amazon that needs no introduction and has been printing the most majority of news about Brazilian environment and Brazilian issues with deforestation. We saw that despite being mega diverse, Brazil is suffering issues related to the land use, and the main reason for that is because part of our economy comes from the agribusiness. Every year, we continue to be alarmed by the high rates of deforestation in our biomes. And that information reaches the majority of the population, of course, by the big newspapers and big news portals. But despite the fact that the journalists do indeed a great job showing the situation of the environment in Brazil, it is easy to observe some patterns on this news and some focus on some biomes while others are completely not represented. Therefore, we asked ourselves, is the media giving more focus to some biomes when it comes to deforestation because these biomes are indeed more deforested, or they are failing to show the real situation of Brazilian landscapes? Based on all of these questions and issues, our research came alive. Our goal is to correlate the representation of Brazilian biomes in online news and the rates of deforestation of the biomes. So, first, we collected information on deforestation news in Brazil, and for this we used the Google News and we delimited the time lapse of 2013 to 2018. Also, we searched for the word deforestation, but in Portuguese. Our goal is to use all the data available on the Google News with this time lapse that we chose it. But for this presentation, we want to show you only 50 of these news of each year. And this gives a total of 300 news analyzed by our team. So for each news, we extracted information about the title, the date that it was published, which biomes the news were about, and whether the biome was the focus on the news or not. We also defined if the news was about an increase or a decrease in deforestation, or even if it was just informative. After collecting this information, we started to look for the deforestation rates, and for that we used the platform Map Biomes. This platform is an initiative of the Climate Observatory co-created by various NGOs. So they annually provides data of the land use of the Brazilian landscapes. With our preliminary analysis, we found some patterns that we're going to show you right now. So guess what? The Amazon appeared on 60% of the news about deforestation in Brazil. Following it, we had Cerrado with 17% of the news, and then Atlantic Forest with 16%. The Caatinga appeared in only 5% of the news, but the worst comes now. Pantanal and Pampa appeared in only 4% and 2% of the news respectively. When compared with the annual deforestation data, Amazon is indeed the most, also presents a larger deforestation rates. Following it, Cerrado is also very devastated, and also Caatinga, which was poorly represented. The Atlantic forest was not so devastated, but we have to remember that Atlantic forest is not big because it is a degraded biome, so all the process of deforestation was in the past. not in this time lapse that we choose to analyze. When we compare the area lost to proportionally original area, Pampa has 1% of its vegetation suppressed per year. Despite the apparently small rates of deforestation compared to the other biomes, Pampa is also very small. After Pampa, the biomes that lose most proportionally to its original area are Amazon, Cerrado, and Caatinga. Caatinga is a biome that is hard to categorize precisely because it's a very unique landscape and only occurs here in Brazil. Cerrado is a global biodiversity hotspot with extremely high diversity endemic species, and it's also very fragmented. Currently, only 8% of Cerrado is protected by conservation units. So, with that in mind, being properly recognized by the media when it comes to deforestation is very, very important. We have to pay attention and put a spotlight on these biomes that are underrepresented by the media and are suffering huge losses.
And how do we contribute to the solution of this problem? We promote this and other topics on our Instagram page. We're always trying to bring up social environmental issues and to promote critical thinking through humor and visual appeal. Given the establishment of a new virtual reality because of COVID-19 and the need to raise awareness among the population about threats to Cerrado and to other biomes, as well as other relevant topics, we started using our Instagram page. Despite the existence of other social networks, we believe that Instagram is a platform capable of reaching a wider and more diverse audience in an attractive way because of its visual and the resources available. In the beginning of 2020 in Brazil, we posted a lot of information about coronavirus and its relation to the environment. We talked about the correct use of masks, personal care, how to proceed in public transportation, or exercising outdoors. We posted about the influence of the degradation of the environment on the coronavirus outbreak, how zoonoses are transmitted, and some of the consequences that this pandemic may bring in the future. Although we recognize the importance of spreading reliable information about the topic, especially in times when fake news are all over social media, we realized that extensive information had already been posted. Not only our Instagram page, but other several pages of projects and scientists were committed to informing the society about every aspect of the pandemic and the race for vaccination. With people being exposed to such long periods of social isolation, relying on screens for studying, working, talk to friends and family, having fun, they can get mentally burned out and also run out of new subjects to talk about. With this in mind, we realized that it was time to change subject and choose topics that spoke to people's daily lives and could catch their attention again. Because we're part of a university, as Isabela said, and most of our followers are students, we decided to follow the path of scientific dissemination of biology and basic science, which can also be used as additional study material for our followers. We posted about readings and people that we thought could inspire others with their stories, such as one of the guests of the event, Ailton Krenak. Using a catchy phrase, trying to summarize the content of the post in an understandable way with a good image had a great result, as well as using shorter text with pictures to express the main idea and use less amount of textual information. The use of a more informal and approachable language has also proved to be really effective, as we were able to reach other people beyond the university. This year we're trying to use humor, make jokes and puns, but always keep in mind relevant themes for social network. The most relevant themes for our engagement are those who bring an element to a discussion that is already in vogue. When the subject is all over social media, it is easy to the post to be read and liked and also shared. We try not only to bring information, but also to foment discussion. so we can understand better what our followers are thinking and which kind of topic should be addressed in the future. All this data about our public is collected using the Instagram metrics, and we use as a feedback to understand what people are choosing to see. For posting, we're always trying to acquire the information, the data, from the best sources. Even if the issue doesn't have any articles about it yet, we try to search in news or other reliable sources. Because we're a large group, we need a platform that supports what we do. The best tool that we found and that we've been using for years now is the free platform Canva that allows us to edit in a visually pleasant way. This tool has been growing in Brazil, especially to disseminate scientific information, and for education. It doesn't have any cost and it's not really hard to be used. As Instagram allows us to use more than one image in a post, we're always trying to use an eye-catching image with a title and distribute the rest of information with short texts and icons and other resources that we can find in Canva itself. As you said before, we're always keeping an eye on the metrics provided by Instagram. In this case, we can get demographic information that gives us the context to understand which kind of information is more relevant to our followers. We're always promoting activities that brings us together, such as events, photo contests, raffles, and discussions. And these are the moments that we gain more followers. But more important than attract new people to our page is to make those who already follow us to be in touch with our work. So we're trying to have a regular frequency of posts on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, in parallel with using all the resources available on Instagram. Our posts usually reach more than 1,000 people, which we consider a base number, reaching more than 5,000 people when using Reels, a great tool to achieve a high level of engagement. Even being a small organization, we achieve a great amount of people in our society, and even with the difficulties that our country faces, we're still working on providing a great content to whomever has the interest. It is good to remember the importance of small groups of students, scientists, and science lovers on promoting science, on making scientific dissemination. Because big media is really important to spread news, but it is different when it's done for people that actually fight for it every day. Considering all the climate change and other environmental issues that we're facing today, no matter how many followers you have, if you make a difference for one person, it is worth it. In Brazil, we have the saying, it is a small ants job. So we're doing a small job here, but we hope to make a difference and to inspire others to do the same. We would like to thank Earth Action Hub for this opportunity to show a bit of what we do, of our project, to such a great audience and colleagues that really inspire us. We hope to see you in an event in the future and see the results of our fight today.
We want to thank to the organization for the amazing event that they are doing. And we also want to thank you that are listening to our story. And now we're going to answer a few questions of you guys.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. It's a pleasure to see a project made by students for all the society, and it was very nice to hear and learn a little bit more about you. And we already have a question. I'll just ask here for you. Someone asked if you can talk a little bit more about the post you got the highest reaction. Don't know which of you wants to answer this question.
Okay, so I think the subjects that are polemical some way attract people. So we talked about cats in the environment and how they are bad for the conservation. So a lot of people share it and discussing about it and telling, oh, my cat is in my house, so I can have a cat. But other subjects like transphobia and also related to social commitments, people seems to like because have a discussion. You have an opinion and then another person has another, and they can discuss about it and reach a conclusion, I think.
Yeah, I think these posts, they bring issues that are polemic, as Isabela said, but they also bring something new to the discussion. And also using reels had a great result. Like I think the highest level of engagement was with one reels about insects. People really enjoy it.
So you, during your work, do you have a specific way of choosing the themes you will talk about? How do you choose? Because you talk about so many interesting subjects. How can you choose something to talk about?
So as we said, we usually chose themes that are all over social network, like people are talking about it, and we think it's important to bring a new idea about it. And also we chose themes that we like and that we think that other people will enjoy it too, you know. Isabela, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I think we keep the connection with people. So we see what they are doing, what they like on social media. So the secret is to have fun watching what the people are doing, like TikTok videos. So we study with fun, something like that. But this it's not a rule. Like we can talk about other things that people are not discussing it, but like a recipe. You have to see how people engage. It's with humor, it's with serious, it's with music, what people like. So we try to understand that, and different social medias have different engagements. So you have also to choose the media and study the media and discover how to reach people.
That's very interesting. Thank you for the answers. And we also have another question. How can we encourage Brazilian media, even international media, to represent more of the Brazilian biomes in the news?
I think in general we need to work to have a better communication between the scientific community and the rest of the society. I don't know if it's enough, like to encourage international media, but we think that by doing research as we're developing right now, that we showed about biomes and how they're showed by the big media, and spreading this in our social network and using not only Instagram, but using this kind of event to talk about it. I think maybe we can make more people like to think about this theme and pay attention to this kind of topic.
Yeah, I think the scientific dissemination have this responsibility, because it's hard to see a journalist pick up some article that is so specific, and sometimes even specialists have difficulty to understand. So our work is to translate it to the journalist, to the people, to my mother, to my grandmother. So I think we have this goal, and I think everyone should do it. If you are a scientist, if you like to read articles about environment, you can translate it to a language that is accessible, I think.
Yeah, that's also very interesting. We were having a few workshops earlier today, and in one of them we have this question from the speaker, like, do you talk about climate change with the people around you, or do you talk about climate change with people that are already aware of climate change? And we know, and even when we were putting the Earth Action Hub together, we were thinking about how to communicate climate change in a way that will engage people to act and not making people feel overwhelmed and sad about all those news we have, because climate change news are not so pleasant to see, and we sometimes get sad, and sometimes we feel angry about what's going on. And do you have a piece of knowledge to share about this? How we can maybe transform news that are not so good into something interesting that can make young people or people engage with climate change, for example, or with another theme?
Ailton Krenak, it's a participant of, he will be in this event. He say, I think that is very interesting. It's like a cosmic dance, and you have to be beautiful and happy to be in this cosmic dance. So yeah, it's sad, but we have to bring people together and think about it. Everything has a solution, everything. So we just need to have hope. And as was in the video, don't give up. It's like that. It's easy to be depressed with all this news, but the only people that can change this is us, voting, getting knowledge about it, talking to everybody. So we have the power. The people are empowered to do the change in the world. So I think it's that. But of course, it's sad. I will not lie. Sometimes I get so not motivated to continue to do it. But I think if you are together, we can be stronger.
We have one last question because we are right on time already. If you can quickly answer, what's your plan and what do you want to achieve with this work before we wrap up?
So I think we want to highlight how big media can be biased, and we want to provoke this idea that sometimes the ones that are not giving the proper attention, they have to be more carefully, how can I say that, like they have to receive more attention from everybody, from science and from the rest of the society. So I think that it is our main goal, to make people to see this bias and to change it.
Perfect. That's awesome. And I think it really applies to many other themes and other topics. Probably in other countries, people face the same problem of not having in the news some things that are important and that should be highlighted. And we also talked about it in the event, about poor communities, about social inequality, about gender equality, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. Barry, do you want to make another comment before we finish?
Yeah, just a huge thank you for all the work you're doing, for being a part of the event. I mean, it really highlights the importance of bridging that gap between the scientific community and the general community as well. So huge thanks.